Hello guys, welcome to this video. In this video I'm gonna teach you that what are loops in PHP and how we use loops in PHP. So let's say that if I want to repeat the lines of code for multiple number of times on a web page, for this purpose we use loops. Loops are used to repeat the code on the web page for particular number of times. Now let's see the syntax of this loop. So first will be initialization. A variable will be initialized and then we'll use our while keyword, and inside the parentheses I write a condition. So this condition will be checked before entering into the body of this while loop. So this is the opening curly brace and this is a closing curly brace. So the statements inside the opening and closing curly brace are called the body of this while loop. After all the statements, here will be an increment and decrement operator. So this increment decrement operator will increment the value of this initialized variable by 1. Now let's see, I'm going to write here program to understand the working of this while loop. So I'm going to declare or initialize a variable that is named as count is equals to 1. After that I'll use a while loop. Here I'll make a condition that count less than equals to 10. So this means that 10 times the statement will be executed on the web page. So I'm going to write here the body of this while loop. Inside this body of the while loop I'll use echo statement to display hello world on the web page for 10 times. So I'm going to write here hello world, and here I'll use a break for new line on the web page. Now I'm going to write a increment decrement operators. Hello guys, welcome to this video. In this video I'm gonna teach you about do while loop in PHP. So the purpose of while loop and do while loop in PHP is same, but there is a change in the syntax of the do while and while loop. Let's see the syntax of the do while loop. First is the initializer, and second the keyword do, and after the keyword do the opening curly brace and the closing curly brace. And in the do while case the condition will be imposed at the end of the closing curly brace followed by a semicolon, but the condition in while loop doesn't followed by a semicolon. Hello guys, welcome to this video. In this video I'm going to teach you about for loop in PHP. So let's see the function of for loop in PHP. So first we will write a for keyword, and inside the parenthesis I write initialize condition and then increment decrement. So in for loop, initialization, condition and increment decrement are placed in a single statement in for loop, but not in while or do while loop. So this is a statement that is inside the body of this for loop. Now I'm gonna create here a function or a code to display the result of for loop. So I'm gonna write here a variable that is named as count, for example, is equals to 1. And hello guys, welcome to this video. In this video I'm gonna teach you about a nested for loop. So nested for loop means that a for loop inside another for loop is called a nested loop. So let's see, this is the syntax of for loop that I have described in previous tutorial. Now let's see that if we want to display this pattern on the web page, then we cannot use single for loop to display this pattern on the web page. Now let's see that I'm gonna create here another for loop inside and for loop. So this for loop is called an inner loop and this is called an outer loop. So this is called a nested for loop. So I'll copy this statement and paste it here inside, and I'll change the variable name to count1. Now inside the inner for loop I write echo statement, and inside it I'll print the static, and in the outer for loop I'll use here echo statement to print the break on the web page. Now I'm going to write here break and semicolon. If I want to display this pattern on the web page, I cannot use a single for loop. We have to use a nested for loop to display this pattern on the web page. Now I'll change this condition that is in the inner for loop. So I write here that if count variable 1 less than equals to the count that is in outer for loop. So I'll write here that if count 1 less than equals to count. Now I'm gonna save the file, and you will see that this triangle will be displayed on the web page. Now I'm gonna refresh the page, and you can see that the triangle is displaying on the web page. Now let's see the working of nested for loop. So first the count variable will be initialized to 1, and after initialization the condition will be checked. If the condition is true, then the control will move inside the body of the for loop. So in this for loop it is another for loop that is called a nested loop. Now the count1 variable will be initialized to value 1, and it will check the condition. Now if the condition is true, then this static will be printed on the web page, and after printing this static on the web page it will check the it will increment the value by 1, and after increment the value it will check the condition. Now the control will move to the outer for loop until the condition becomes false. Now when this condition will false, the control will move outside this for loop, and the break statement that is in outer for loop will be executed, and after executing this statement again the count variable will be incremented by 1, and again it will check the condition.